8 tips and things to keep in mind that will help you design perfect product pages. The first tip, probably the most important: clarity leads to conversions. If your customers are confused at this point in the buying process, they will not buy. This isn't the time to reinvent the wheel and to experiment with layouts. This is the time to showcase your product in its entirety, in a way that gives your users the best possible information about what they're getting, when they're getting it, and how much they're getting it for. The obvious way to increase clarity is with great product images and descriptions. But you should also include information about what the shipping time is and what the final price is, with taxes included if possible. And make sure your price is clearly visible and easy to find. This can help prevent unpleasant surprises for your customers in the checkout process. Be as straightforward and as honest as possible. Talking about honesty brings me into my second tip. Steal inspiration and steal the layout from other e-commerce websites. When it comes to things like navigation, product pages, checkouts, you're really better off doing things the way your users are used to, rather than trying to be new and exciting. Anything that deviates enough from what your audience expects will confuse them, potentially frustrate them, and make your product page less effective. You're gonna notice most product pages follow a very similar layout. We're gonna talk about the things you should include on your product page, some of which may not be that obvious in the next few tips. But in general, make sure the layout and the flow of your product page meets expectations and feels familiar to your users. With that said, hopefully I'm exceeding your expectations. If I am, please make sure you like the video, it would help me out a whole lot. Now you may be wondering, what does the usual layout look like? I'm glad you asked, because the third tip is: keep things above the fold. On your website, you generally want to be generous with white space, so empty space around your elements so everything looks, works, and feels better. On your product page, however, the rules are just a little bit different. What visitors see before they scroll is even more important than on other parts of your website. The part of your website that you can see before you scroll is referred to as above the fold. While your elements should still have some space around them, there's generally plenty of space on your product page to showcase the most important information instantly. You shouldn't feel the need to move, say, ratings somewhere below that initial viewport just so everything else looks better. There are 2 types of content on your product page: need to see and nice to see. The need to see needs to be above the fold, and the nice to see can be further down the page. Things you should definitely keep above the fold are product images, the title, reviews, the price, a short description, 1 or 2 sentences, any variations your users can choose from, such as color or size, and the checkout button, which should be very noticeable and should encourage your users to buy your product. For content that is below the fold, you don't have to stick to a strict layout. You can use tabs or more standard layouts to present your content. As long as it's clean and things are easy to find, you're good to go. The content that should be here are detailed descriptions, detailed information about shipping and returns, full reviews, frequently asked questions, and related products. Always include related products. Tip number 4. Social proof matters. Reviews from your customers are a very powerful tool for building trust, and trust is insanely important when it comes to making a sale. Reviews are one of the first things people are gonna look for before they buy something. Make sure you include those little star icons and information about how many reviews your product has, showing how liked it is, in a very noticeable place. I recommend you put them just below the product title. And when users click the reviews, it should scroll them down and take them to the actual full reviews, which you should include somewhere further down the page below the initial viewport. Another tip that you should keep in mind anytime you show reviews on your website is include things that show the reviews are authentic, such as pictures of the people writing the review, their full name, when and where they posted the review, and any possible verification badges. You don't have to include all of these because it can feel cluttered, but definitely do try to include pictures and full names. Tip number 5. Social proof are not just reviews. Social proof can also be logos of well-known companies on your website. A good example of this are credit card icons, or icons of other payment providers your users can use to buy things on your website. Just seeing logos of companies people are familiar with, companies they trust, associated with your website can have a positive impact on how much they trust you and your products. They are a powerful symbol of legitimacy. And it's also a very good idea from a user experience perspective. Your users will instantly know which payment options you're providing, which ties well into making things clear and easy for them. So include credit card icons on your product page, just below the checkout button. Of course, this also includes trust badges, things like awards, safety ratings, or any certifications your products have. A good place to put these would be next to your short description. Another way you can make your website appear more legitimate is by displaying your returns and shipping policies. And this also helps keep things clear and honest. With the returns and shipping, you can include most of the information below the fold, so when users scroll down the page. If possible, do keep the shipping price above the fold, especially if it's free, and if your return policy is generous, you might want to keep it in that initial viewport as well. Otherwise, these things can easily go below the fold. Tip number 6. Make your navigation clear and simple. Include breadcrumbs on your product page so your users always know where they are and where they can go to explore more products. Breadcrumbs are links that help users track where they are on a website. They display the page a user is currently on and its relation to the pages they visited before or the pages they can visit after. The best place to put them is just above your images. On e-commerce websites, people visit different pages, they look at different products, different categories. It's a very fluid experience and it has to be smooth and easy. Easily available and simple navigation is very important. Another really important part of your navigation is your header. I have a great video on how to design awesome website headers, so go check it out. The link is in the description. Me promoting my content brings me into tip number 7. Highlight any discounts or promotions. If you're running a promotion or if you're offering free shipping or if the product is discounted, make sure your users know. Similarly, if your stock is low or if your product is only going to be available for a limited amount of time, point it out. It will help you create urgency and increase the efficiency of your product page. For discounts, place your new price right next to your old price, which you're going to want to cross out, and emphasize it. Make it bolder, larger, or use a different color. Just make sure it stands out. For free shipping, like we talked about before, try to keep it above the fold. I recommend you place it below the checkout button where it's easy for users to locate. And the final tip, tip number 8, keep your users on your product page. Your product page is not the place where you want to guide your users to different parts of your website. It's the final stage before a purchase. And don't even think about guiding them away to different websites or social media. By doing that, you're basically undoing all of the work that you put in to get them to the product page in the first place. What you want to achieve as much as possible is that the only place they go to is another page in your store to browse and find and buy different products. If you need to show something like a size guide and you don't have space for it, use a pop-up or have it be available below the fold. Just do your best to not lead your users away from your product page. And hopefully I'll be able to lead you to watch this video next. If you found this one interesting, you're gonna find that one interesting as well. Also, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Thank you for watching.